Hello, Fightful Faithful. Welcome to the Tuesday night deal where we talk about NXT. And Jesus, I get worse at these every time, Kate.
Hello, Fightful Faithful. This is your NXT review for June 28th, brought to you by Blue Chew and Magic Spoon today. We've got Alex Pawlowski in the house. We've got myself. We've got to remind you to send in your super chats, to send in your humper chats, to leave a thumbs up on this video, and of course, to subscribe to Fightful Select for the latest and greatest in all wrestling breaking news. Over 7,000 subscribers, Alex. Holy crap. I love that you kayfabe the intro for me. I appreciate it so much.
Every time. Every time.
I need some semblance of joy because buddy NXT ain't giving it to me. Holy crap. Am I like peak sour today? This was a terrible episode. We're a little bit late. The truth is I had to like set up and stuff, but I think I needed a minute, guys, because it was so bad.
Yep. Yeah, it was.
It was not
good. Next week we'll come back here next week and go, hey, the matches were all pretty okay. I hope they can build off of this going forward. Maybe the creative will save them. No, that's never going to happen. So let's all remember how we feel now next week, because we should always, just remember to keep expectations low at all times, because that's the secret sauce to NXT 2.0. We got the Gab. I think it's very funny to me that the hashtag they've set up already for next week is hashtag NXT Gab. But the Gab is next week. The bash that is so American. It's great. And we made a whole bunch of matches tonight for that show. And a lot of it just comes down to, I don't think they know what they're doing. If that makes sense. I don't think the people who are running shit there have any clue what they're doing. I just don't. I don't get it.
Believe that they had. This was the episode after 2 pre-tapes, man. They had like 3 weeks to create this episode, and this is what they gave us. The insult to your performers and to your audience it just continues. And I got to be honest, like normally we talk about bad creative and good ring action. There was some not great in ring action tonight at all. And I just, when that's not redeeming, this is an even harder show because there's nothing here for us.
Yeah.
Double Vest and the Beads are your NXT Tag Team Champions
NXT
in the UK. What are we
Tag
doing?
Team Champions.
Oh, crap. I forgot to say the Twitch thing. Guys, we're also on Twitch.
Yeah,
Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. You can send in chats via bits as well.
Yeah.
Thank you to our wonderful moderator, Louise, for reminding us of that. I had my CM Punk shirt on just so I could feel joy today.
Yeah. Also, get in your super chats at the bottom of the chat deal here on YouTube, and also your humper chats at humperchats.com. We prefer the humper chats because we get a sweeter piece of the pie, but otherwise, anything's good. Anything's absolutely appreciated.
We're gonna need bail money to bail Tony D'Angelo out.
We're gonna talk about that.
Can we talk about that for an hour?
Yeah, let's talk about that for 2 hours and then nothing else for the rest of the time. JW Pringle says, good sours of the Graps. Hail to the Council of Marks. Hail to Paul Elizabeth. Hail to the leader of the Graps, Alex and Kate. May all of our spoons be magic. NXT 2.0 was pretty junk tonight. It was. Meet Normus says, you can't spell gabagool without the gab.
Okay, that's good. That's good. See, that in the first 5 minutes of the show, I've been more entertained by you guys in your super chats than I was probably for the entire 2 hours of the show. I have one positive note written down, and that is so sad.
Yeah. Ricardo the Mark says, my appendix ruptured. I'm fine, though. Here's some love. I hope you're fine, because that that sucks. That's never a good thing to happen.
That doesn't stick. Are you sure your appendix burst, or did you just watch NXT and are in pain?
It makes you very sick to your stomach.
It does.
Watching
it does a lot of pain.
Chris Like Vegas says, here's some money because y'all are more entertaining than NXT. Well, listen, that's a very low bar to clear, but we're very happy that we do. That's something we'd like to try. Matthew Plus, here being awful, says, Katie, you can't fix those trash bangs on your own. Matthew Plus pays us money to read his ramblings and rantings. He's a madman.
I would say kiss my butt, but mine is covered, so you can kiss Nikita Lyons' butt. Her like side butt.
Or Kaden Carter had all of her cheeks out tonight too. Like,
boy, did she ever!
That was at least 2/3 of the cheeks were out on Kaden Carter tonight. I wonder if Lyndall has something to say about that. Paul Elizabeth says, had to watch NXT tonight. Thank goodness for Sir Pringle, the Council, Team KLX, and the SGS. So your dad, your poor father had to witness.
He's given it a good solid 3 weeks. Like, I've been back and forth between my parents' house, my place, and my sister's place in upstate New York over the course of the past month. And my poor dad has sat there and watched NXT with me a few times. And even he is sick of it.
Yeah. JW Pringle says, Maddie Minus take a long walk off a short pier. No, that's 2 times.
That's what 2 times did.
We'll talk more about that in a second. JW Pringle says, in other news, I celebrated Taco Tuesday with Hawaiian food. Kailua pork with 2 scoops of rice and a scoop of mac salad. Taco Tuesday success. Yeah, listen, anything can be put inside a tortilla. It is simply a starchy means of conveyance to get other foods into your mouth. So yeah, like my I was like, I made us what did I make the other night? I forget what I made us, but it was some kind of chicken parm burritos, because I was all out of like the bread we used to make. So I was just like, no, just like I diced up the chicken parm and with the sauce and the cheese and everything, and I rolled it up in a tortilla, and she was like, I didn't know you could do this. Of course you can. You just a tortilla. It's the same thing. Tastes fine. So okay, we got through all those. Here we go. We got more. I gotta get this. Here we go. Anirban Bardan says, my first ever and probably only super chat in my life. To appreciate Kate's bangs and powered by Blue Chew to say that NX 2.0 was better than Forbidden Door's brawl. I mean, the brawl was the least good thing about Forbidden Door, but everything else about it was absolutely amazing. And yeah, no, NXT 2.0 is really much better than anything.
I hated that we went home on I hated that we talked about it on Fightful Select. We did the paywall pay-per-view post show for Forbidden Door. I did not like that they went home on something that felt like a go home to another event. That did not feel great.
Yeah.
But it made sense, which is more than I can say for most of NXT 2.0. Like I'm not a huge fan of how often they do like the gang wars, but they're always logical early. So it doesn't like take me out of the story. But I just felt like that was not the place for it.
Yeah. NXT, Nerd Guru has something fun to us. For everybody who would like to partake and play with this, feel free to throw your super chats and upper champs as a response to this. Says, I have a somewhat fun prompt for you guys tonight. If NXT 2.0 was a thing during the pandemic-like early stages, what would have been the cinematic match they would have run? It could be anything or anyone we've seen since it aired.
Ooh. Man, they could have done... There's a lot there, but...
I mean, they basically already did that with Dexter Lumis in the haunted house, but like instead make it a full match. They would have
work.
Like Dexter Lumis like stalking somebody through a haunted house, but fighting him all the way through it. They did that basically with Cameron Grimes, but like they could make that work.
I feel like when they were in the thick of like the Diamond Mine versus Imperium feud, like a Gunther versus Roddy Strong match would have been, I feel like, a really fun cinematic one.
Yeah. We would have done Luis says the Hero-gasm from the Amazon Prime show The Boys, but the NXT remix. I don't even know. I don't even want to know what that is. I know they're very horny there, but I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I also think they would have had Tony D fighting somebody in some back alley behind an Italian restaurant. Like, it would have been really great. That would have been a lot of fun too. So Ryan Sullivan gets us kicked off of the actual show.
What a guy.
Says, I don't understand NXT, but here is money. And thank you for the money, Ryan Sullivan. Nobody understands. Nobody understands.
Yeah, you guys are being very supportive very early on, and thank you for that. Because
okay, Roxy and Jade faced the TikTok tag team. Remember when they were called that? They were the TikTok tag team, and they dropped that immediately because they knew it was stupid.
Yes.
You know what they should have dropped also? Those ridiculous light up shoulder pads they wear to the ring for no reason.
Also, they were like best friends with Double Vest and the Beach, and then that's just not a thing.
No, but because Double Vest and the Beach have a horse girl now.
It's true, but like.
But they were. They were best friends. They were best friends. They're like, hey guys, come and let's go to a concert. Why not? But here's what I want to know: why are you wearing those Christmas lights around your shoulders? That's not not an effective shawl. Trust me, I had a shawl once. It was made out of Christmas lights. It was a festive thing, and it did not protect me from the cold whatsoever. I got frostbite in both of my shoulders one time because I had to walk through a parking lot. It was terrible. Don't wear the Christmas lights on your shoulders, ladies. It's not really important. I just think you shouldn't do it at all.
Are they indoor-outdoor lights? Because it's also a huge risk. If it's only indoor lights, you could electrocute yourself.
That's true.
You got to be safe these days.
Always make sure you don't plug your shoulder pads into an overloaded outlet, or the whole thing could spark and you could all go up in flames.
My God.
Make sure you plug your shoulder pads into one of those, the power strip dealies with a surge protector. Always protect the surge on your shoulder pads. That's what you got to do.
I mean, you could get the solar light up shoulder pads.
Oh, but then you're running ones. But then you're running a risk. You're running a risk. Gonna conk out.
You're running a risk.
You don't know. Everything's made on the cheap, and you never know. You gotta make sure you go with the grade A version of the shoulder pads that light up for no reason.
It's true.
TikTok tag team loses. It's a long ass match. Kate, I have a question for you. Was this match good? I only ask because I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I couldn't watch a lot of it. And I say that also meaning I couldn't watch a lot of it because I was doing things like cleaning up after dinner and putting a load of laundry in, like stuff I have to do around the house while this is on. But also I say I couldn't watch it because I just don't give a damn. I just don't really care about any of this stuff. And it's not great. So was the match good?
No, I saw like some conflicting viewpoints to what I'm about to say on social media. So if you guys liked them, that's cool. I thought it was really bad. The most egregious spot in it for me was at one point, Katana was just like basically on all fours for just waiting to be kicked. Like just waiting for someone to come stomp on her. Like the amount of ringside and not selling anything. Like she was literally just sitting there for like a good 90 seconds, just waiting for someone to come stomp her. Made no sense. Kaden had an awful single leg crab that just looked bad. It looked somewhere between, like she was trying to lock in a scorpion death lock and an ankle lock. I thought it was terrible. Cora had a really bad head scissors takedown with Kaden too. I don't know who was on the wrong end of that, but it just looked very bad. And then there was a corner spot where somebody got pulled out of the way, but because WWE camera cuts are terrible, I don't actually know what happened to the corner spot that happened right before the finish of this match. So I don't know what caused it, but I did not like this opening match, unfortunately. I saw some people that really did. I thought the parts that Roxy were in looked pretty strong. But outside of that, man, Katana is very impressive from an acrobatic standpoint, but her ring psychology is lacking for how long she's been doing this, or at least it was about in this match. And Kaden didn't look great either. They just either didn't have the chemistry or whatever, but even Cora coming in as the hot tag, that head scissors was not very good. I didn't like this very much. I can understand why you weren't interested, because the crux of this match has to do with a singles breakout tournament being turned into a maybe possibly they're going to use it as a tag team title shot instead, possibly.
I guess this match was so they didn't have to do that. Like,
I guess.
I mean, honestly, this is what I thought was going to happen. I thought, and I didn't want this to happen. I thought they were going to do this. I thought they were, because they've been leaning, and they did this in a post-match segment as well. They've been leaning toward taking Kaden and Katana. I really hate that name. Kaden and Katana down a heelish path. They're being sore losers. They're overly arrogant. All this kind of stuff. They've been leaning on taking them down a heelish path. So I thought, what if they cheat to win, to get the number one contendership? And Roxy and Cora Jade are so pissed, they cash in that contract that Cora Jade that Roxy has and get added to the tag match, thereby making it a triple threat. And then you can kind of protect Toxic if you wanted to. I'm saying, like, these are all options that they had to do something bad, which is use Roxy cashing in this thing. But if you're going to do it in a way that makes sense. But they didn't do that. And I think Roxanne Perez, Roxy is incredibly talented and the one that I care about. I mean, there's sometimes I'm fine with Cora Jade, but I'm never going to be the biggest fan of hers. And I think that the old Casey and Kaden tag team has reached its ceiling, which is to say, never going to hold a title on any level of WWE. They're just not that good. Now, that doesn't mean they can't be on the main roster and take a bunch of losses. Hell, like, I would rather see them take a bunch of pinfalls than Nikki Cross, who's an actually great wrestler. But you know, it's just it's a weird thing. I also wanted. Listen, I understand all the other girls on the NXT 2.0 are showing the cheeks and they're showing the tartars, but listen, Kaden, I don't know you, sweetheart, but I hope you're not falling victim to the peer pressure, because not everybody I think you look wonderful. Those are wonderful cheeks you have. You're sporting some lovely cans. But what I am saying to you is you don't have to show them off if you don't want to. Don't feel like you have to be one of those toxic girls or like a Nikita Kid Alliance. You don't have to do any of that at all.
There's some confusion in the chat too. By the way, I just want to clarify, Roxy did not officially yet cash in
She's not
her title shot.
No.
So that makes even less sense in retrospect. Yeah, I did notice the ring gear change. I kind of went the other way with it, thinking she had a lot of tattoos. I don't know if you noticed on her legs, but I know they kept Rhea covered up because of her tattoos, and then because of a ring gear mix-up, she had to be able to show them, and it was a very positive reaction. So I'm wondering if maybe they've lightened up on showing tattoos on the old WWE programming, but of course, Linda's pretty old school, so it makes sense that she would feel that way. That made more sense than a lot of things in this match, unfortunately.
So Roxy wins with the Pop Rocks on Katana, and they win.
Which always looks cool. I will say that.
Looks fine.
The Pop Rocks is cool.
Yeah. And then later, Katana and Kaden come into the women's locker room, which is full of ladies. Just there's like 7 or 8 women in the locker room. And Kaden comes in and immediately kicks a suitcase. She's very, very angry that they lost. And Katana's like, I know we're better than them, and we're better than Toxic. And so like they're very angry that they lost. And then Tatum Paxley is there, is like just gives them the side eye and like, what are you looking at? Like, I'm just trying to give you your space. Why don't you mind your own business? And I wanted him to be like, that's my suitcase you just kicked. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I hope that was Caden's suitcase, but it's never nobody stepped forward and, hey, that's mine. Please, there's breakable things in there. I went to a souvenir shop and got some stuff from my great aunt. Please don't kick it. She's a big fan of little Hummel figurines, and I got some with Mickey Mouse ears on them. Please don't kick my suitcase anymore. I don't know. I don't understand why this thing is there, other than to, like, I guess we're gonna get Tatum Paxley versus Caden Carter to further the Caden and Katana heelish stuff.
My biggest problem with this was, you can't just go around saying you're better than people you've lost to. That's the point of matches, is to determine who's better than the other. Like, if I fought Sean, I would of course win. I would beat Sean hands down any day of the week.
Easily.
Like, I can't even hold his own in a GCW battle royal. So he can't just come out and say he's better than me when I would kick his butt over and over and over again. That's just a hypothetical example.
Right.
That would definitely happen if it played out. But for now, it's a hypothetical example.
Yeah.
But that's the point of wrestling matches. And it's the point of wins and losses, is to determine who's better and worse than other teams. You can't just, like, come in there and say that.
Yeah. We got some more here from the Matthew Minus. Matthew Plus says, Paul Elizabeth watched NXT tonight with as much joy as he had watching his daughter grow up into a mediocre podcast host with trashy bangs. # boycott SGS. Paul Elizabeth says, oh, Mr. Plus, the burn, it hurts. I'm melting. And then JW Pringle says, sarcastic. Maddie Minus, may your socks be forever damp and your cereal always soggy. And then Matthew Plus says, oh, wait, sorry. Then Luis has a different heading here that says, Matthew Plus ain't so bad after all. To which Matthew Plus has said, here's me putting Luis over, the best mod in the biz. And now we know why Matty Plus has not been blocked, because he's bribing Luis with compliments.
You can call me a mediocre podcaster all you want, but I am here on this podcast making money off of you and your shitty comments, Matthew Plus. So feel free to keep sending this mediocre podcaster all of your money. But I don't know if you've noticed how many shows I'm on. It's every Tuesday. It's every Friday. It's pretty much every pay-per-view now. So you can never escape me, but you can keep sending us all of your money. And as far as my dad goes, find yourself a little tag team partner, all right? Because we're going to kick your ass. You can find yourself a tag team partner with the actual last handle name minus, so that you can just be neutralized, because that's what my dad and I are going to do to you. All right?
Because you know what a plus and a minus adds up to? Big old fat 0.
Which is where you're already at, pal.
That's right. So I guess we're going to get Tater Paxley. Tater Paxley versus Caden Carter or Katana Chance.
Oh my God, Matthew Plus says he's going to tag with Luis like he doesn't realize. Like Luis doesn't know where his bread and butter is made. You know what I mean?
He knows where.
Please.
He knows what's going on.
Trying to come into our stable.
We got a backstage segment where Julius and Brutus are showing Ivy Nile how to get into her awesome, crazy reach around behind her back sleeper hold thing that she doesn't get to do on TV often enough. I thought this was fun, obviously, until Joe Gacy showed up with the Grizzly Young Veterans hanging their heads in shame wearing those friggin' outfits. But he's like, you should be with me. Why don't you should go away from the diamond mine, but join me. I am evil. You should join me. And then
for $1 million.
Right. Yeah. And then Roddy Strong shows up and says, get the hell out of here. And like, wow, but you guys, there's so much hostility amongst you. It's not toward me, it's amongst yourselves. Well, why don't we have a 6-man tag later tonight? And that gets all set up. Yep, this is all a thing.
It happened.
Yeah, there's a like. Oh, right, that's right. Yeah, Diamond Mine. We're gonna show them, and they all like fist bump, except for Roddy Strong hugs. So hugs whatever Ivy Nile.
Ivy?
He hugs Ivy Nile. He doesn't. You can't dap up a girl. Apparently, you got to hug him awkwardly. That was.
I want Ivy Nile to kick the Dyad's ass. That's what I got out of this segment. I want her.
Ivy Nile.
The two of them.
Ivy Nile versus Joe Gacy in a death match that Ivy Nile squashes him in. That's what
Yep.
So after Julius and Brutus walk away, Roddy Strong looks after them like, I don't like you very much. I pretended to like you just now, but I don't like you at all.
I'm kind of just like, just leave Diamond Mine, bro. At this point, I'm like, look, you're clearly not getting along with them.
Yeah.
You said you were going to kick them out. They ended up winning. You could just stop.
Yeah.
Let it go.
We got Giovanni Vinci versus Ike Manjiro. It was a squash. Basically a squash. Good. Fabian Eichner is a frigging star. He's great. He's one of the most unambiguously talented mother effers I've ever seen in the ring. And Fabian Eichner is. Giovanni Vinci is a tired ass, lame ass gimmick. Like him walking out to the ring and he has to pose for pictures, waits way too long for the pictures to get taken, and then they say Veni, and then the next one says Vici, and the next one says Vinci. Like he's too good for this crap. He's really, really, really great. You don't need to give him the gimmick. You can just give him a character. Because we talked about character versus gimmick. This is absolutely a gimmick. He doesn't need a gimmick. Give him a character. The character makes sense. The gimmick doesn't. I hope he's able to rise above the awful creative and reach his true potential. But I don't even know if that's going to happen.
So a few things. I don't want to say this because I don't want anybody to lose their jobs, but I watched Forbidden Door on Sunday, and then I watched this, and I was like, let's just let Ike Manjiro go. Like, he was so good. He's a multi-belt holder in New Japan. Like, there's a place where Japanese talent can go and work on American television now. Let's let him go there, man. That popped into my head because he deserves better than taking squashes from this, but it's better than jobbing to Von Wagner, I guess. So I'll take it. The tornado DDT was really cool in this match.
That was the most forceful tornado DDT I've ever seen.
That was really,
he pulled some G's on that thing. That was nuts.
That was a very high damage tornado. That was very high on the scale.
That was what they call an F5.
How did you feel about him using the last ride as the finish?
I love it as long as they're gonna give him guys that he's able to do it to. And I can't wait to see who the biggest guy is that he can do that to. Like, can he do that to Duke Hudson? I bet he can. He's friggin' Fabian Eichner. He's really strong. Like, yeah, let me see. Let me see how big the dudes are that he can do that to. I'd like to see that. It's a hell of a last ride. I'll tell you that. Yeah. So good for Fabian Eichner for winning, but
yeah, I really liked him using the last ride. I'm kind of glad that I'm not glad that he is not an Imperium, but I am glad that he is being. It seems like they recognize that he has the potential to be a single star, which that makes me very happy about because he's fantastic. So that part of it is good, at least. So I will focus on that. I feel like while this is a gimmicky character, it's not the world's most gimmicky character. So I'm at least thankful about that. Like, it's an accessible character.
Luis, gently correcting you that
All Japan, not New Japan.
Yeah,
I know.
and DDT and DJPW. He
I
wrestled
knew
in
it.
Japan to a much more success than this, whatever
Yes.
this is.
He was at All Japan, not New Japan.
And
he was a TV champion.
Yeah. Also Luis wants Fabian Eichner to powerbomb Sanga. That's how big he wants the person to be who gets powerbombed.
That would be fun.
So Carmelo Hayes is backstage with Trick Williams getting interviewed, and Grayson Waller shows up and says, "Hey, can you sign all these things? I got a basketball and a shirt. It's for my mates back home. They're all big fans of Mello. So can you sign this shirt and this basketball and these 7 8x10s and this contract?" Oops, did I say contract? You didn't see that you just signed a contract. And then you have Carmelo says, "Hey, I like that guy. That guy knows what's up. I like him." And then later we see him leaving and like, "Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You signed a contract for a North American title match next week versus Grayson Waller." And Carmelo is very, very upset by this. Very upset by the snake Grayson Waller that has done this. And I'm very upset instead of this. I'm very upset that they booked Grayson Waller to win the match last week versus Solo Sikoa, because if Solo Sikoa had won it, we would have get a one-on-one match between Solo Sikoa and Carmelo Hayes, which I much rather, like, I don't know how many billion times more would I want to see Solo Sikoa versus Carmelo Hayes than Grayson Waller versus Solo Sikoa. So that's what I'm upset about. But that's just me.
I'll say this. It's unfortunate that their presentation of everything is a bad high school play, because that's actually kind of a clever thing to do that I don't feel like we've seen a ton before, of like, I'm going to feed into this guy's ego and have him autograph all this shit, and one of the things he's going to sign is a contract. But Carmelo was so
legally binding. I'm sorry. Like you tricked a man into signing a contract. He could easily get that thrown out. This is why they need an authority figure, Kate. This is true. This is almost as bad as John Cena signing a contract meant for Finn Balor because Baron Corbin knocked out Finn Balor.
Like, I was going to say, this isn't the most egregious thing that we've seen as far as contract. I mean, they don't even know how restraining orders work. So I appreciated that it was clever. If they didn't have such a two-dimensional presentation of everything, like we saw later in the show of Carmelo being like, "Oh, what? I signed a contract. I'm so mad." Like, if it had come off a little bit cooler, I was like, that would actually be kind of obviously illegal, but a fun device. Like, that's something that I can chalk up to being in pro wrestling,
right?
Where you are unable to do that. So I feel for you.
Yeah. Also, we got related to this. We got a Wesley little video thing where he's basically calling out Trick Williams for the gab.
Mm-hmm.
You insulted my manhood or something. So
he was like, I laid my heart out on the line, which that I really liked, because we were like, it's a little late to get this real, but like I like that he acknowledged that. Yes. That was good.
I liked it too. And we get so we're getting Wesley versus Trick Williams. The best part about all of this is that we know for a fact that Grayson Waller isn't winning the title next week, because we are now, after next week, we will be owed, after Wesley beats Trick Williams, we will be owed Wesley versus Carmelo Hayes. We will be owed Solo Sikoa versus Carmelo Hayes, which makes it even all the more infuriating that we have to wade through the sewage of a Grayson Waller match to get to this, the other things that are so great.
I would not call it sewage. Grayson Waller in the ring is not the thing that annoys me the most about Grayson Waller. Sewage is Von Wagner.
No, here's the thing. The matches are fine.
Yes.
I can't stand the fact that he's so prominently featured, and we're supposed to believe him as a top guy when you've never done the work to make him that.
Yes.
Like you're like, It would be one thing, I guess, if they were still dining out on him taking out Johnny Gargano, but they never mention it. Like, it's just like it was a thing that, like, nope, like never happened. We won't speak about it. Like, I don't know why you even do that without actually, like,
there was no payoff for taking out the guy that built NXT Black and Gold. Yeah, that was weird.
Kate.
Yes.
Kate, we got some news last week that was kind of earth-shattering. I don't know. Did you get the news because I sent you the photo in a private chat? Because I got the news because I saw the photo. And the photo like had to have been doctored in some way. That has to be Photoshop, I said. Because what the photo that I saw was Double Vest in the Beach holding aloft the NXT UK tag titles. And I said that can't be true. That is a prank being pulled on everybody. Yeah, no, that's not, it wasn't okay with me. So I said, here, I sent it to you with the caption, "This is truly the darkest timeline," because it is. It is, Kate. It is the British invasion backwards. It's the Alabama invasion. I don't, this is, so here's the thing. Actually, I actually pitched this years ago. I thought that Otis, back when he was Otis,
right,
in NXT, should go to NXT UK and should like have a run there toward the top to have a match with Walter. But the entire thing should be based around vignettes that you film of Otis doing weird posh British stuff. Like basically the movie King Ralph with John Goodman, which if you haven't seen it is an absolute classic. It's this guy from, I don't know, from like, I think he's from Chicago. And he somehow, the entire British royal family dies at once in a freak accident. And he is like 87th in line to the throne and becomes King of England. And I just like, all the humor is like this guy, this big oaf from the States going to the UK, and it's all a fish out of water story. And I thought that's a great way to do that. Do that with Otis. I think he could really shine in that. That was something I pitched. They didn't do it because they don't listen to me. But if you're going to do a King Ralph story with Double Vest in the Beach, I'm fine with it as long as they insist on, now that we're the UK champs, we deserve titles. Like, he's no longer Double Vest. He's now Lord Vestments of Dublinshire. And he's not just the Beach.
I love that you made the leap from, like, that's how they're referred to in that world, though. Yes, not just us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's their actual given name.
That's their government name.
And he's not just the Beach anymore. He's His Royal Highness the Duke of Beechington.
Of course. Like,
we gotta get that, right? I mean, the Battle of One Jampier says that, Kate, that's Sir Double Vest and Lord Beechington. Jada Pringle says Double Vest of Double Vest and the BG wore 0 vests and 1 coat. And they have some UK title for a reason.
So it's my understanding that a lot of the UK talent in the tag team division is very injured.
Yes.
You have literally grizzled young vets wrestling under masks.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make them feel important. You have, who came out eventually, the Yes Boys, Pretty Deadly, who are from the UK, who came over because they held those tag team titles for almost a year. You have so many options that you could have gone with instead of Double Vest in the Beach. And my God, Florida crowd, we got to have a talk because you deserve it, Chance. Should not have rung out when most of their matches are bad clotheslines and masturbation jokes.
Okay, listen. Luis can perhaps help us out with that, or maybe the chat can. Do you remember the last meaningful tag team victory either of them had in NXT? Because I can't remember. Did they win one match in the Dusty Classic. How long ago was that? February?
Double Best in the Beach?
Yeah. Did they win one match in the Dusty Classic? I think they might have.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think.
So, like, February was the last time they won a meaningful tag match.
You deserve it. You want to match in February. in a tournament that you were knocked out of in like the second round.
Right. The NXT
they
UK.
Could just have people
NXT,
win and lose matches, Alex.
Right. They lost to they won because is it Ashton Smith and I can't remember the other guy's name. They had to give up the titles because they were injured. But those guys won the titles off of Mustache Mountain, like who are the only guys left in the original NXT UK, who are great.
And did they split them up?
And they split them up because they lost, because they were booked to lose the titles to Ashton Smith and whoever the other guy is. They turned on each other. And so you basically broke up Mustache Mountain to give the titles to Double Best in the Beach, which is as big of a downgrade as I could possibly think of. Mustache Mountain had that amazing, like, regular TV, on TV, NXT tag title match versus the UE, where, like, Trent Seven was literally dying in the ring for 20 minutes. And, like, Tyler Bate, like, almost had to throw in the towel. That was, like, some of the best face in peril thing I've ever seen. If you have not watched that match, you owe it to yourself to see Trent Seven and Tyler Bate versus the UE. I don't know, 3 years ago, like, I was on a regular episode. It wasn't even the match they had on pay-per-view. It was like a regular episode of NXT. God, it was so good. Oliver Carter.
They could have
Oliver
had
Carter and Ashton Smith.
Speaking of Carters, well, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they have Nathan Fraser is just happy to be there putting on banger matches. Pair him up with someone in the UK and make it feel like it's important to the UK. Of all the options that you have there, I am glad of what we saw after, though. I felt like Pretty Deadly coming out after they praised each other for their hard work of having won a meaningful match in February.
Yes.
I really liked that Pretty Deadly came out and said, because that was a shoot, brother. You lowered the bar is like something that feels very, very real.
Oh, absolutely.
Why is every wrestler injured?
Pretty Deadly.
Fraser is injured?
Oh, good. Great. Fantastic.
Everybody's injured. I'm injured doing this podcast. I can't go to... I was at Forbidden Door doing our post show, and
we are both emotionally injured from having watched the show.
Yeah, no.
Our mental health is hurting. So we got Pretty Deadly coming out because they're upset that that these yahoos are the tag champs. And they come out and they say, "You guys lowered the bar. We held these titles for 287 days or whatever it is. Like, you don't deserve to have these titles." And the Florida crowd, because it's Florida, and I don't know what I expect from them, broke into a USA chant. But it's the NXT UK titles. Like, I mean, it was a hostile takeover. We literally invaded Britain to take these titles, and your USA. Also, I always assume the worst of this company, Kate. I do not want to see the big redneck American tag team being pitted against the blatantly, flamboyantly effeminate British tag team and see what the crowd does if they get a little rowdy. I don't need to see that on my television. Like, it's a bad scene. I don't want any of that crap. I just don't want any of that.
Well, they did establish in this world that Pretty Deadly are straight, though, right? Wasn't that the first thing they made sure to do?
They tried to, but they're Yes Boy 1 and Yes Boy 2. They may be not. I don't know. It's we'll see. We'll see. The Bad at One Jam Beard says Sir Double Vest and Lord Beejington as the NXT tag champs should now start talking in bad British accents like King Booker. Sure.
It is so rare that I want someone to immediately lose titles. I want them to immediately lose the titles. I want Fallon Henley's horse to run into the match and cost them.
Oh, also, the horse girl slapped brunette yes boy, slapped him in the face, and he reacted as though he had been shot with a sniper's bullet. So like that's how they're gonna position these guys, is that the lady slapped me and now I'm going to fall over because whatever. I know what you said is true. They did immediately have them hit on Toxic Attraction. However, I know the proclivities of the people running this place and how they view things. They have not really progressed from Billy and Chuck. Let's just say that.
Well, yes, we saw the commitment ceremony that they held a couple months ago. That was a good indicator on where they stand right now. Ali C said, we are the bar, we lower the bar or something. Yeah, we don't just set the bar, we lower the bar.
That's right. Sean Blanford said, can confirm King Ralph is a low-key banger. The world doesn't deserve the awesomeness that is John Goodman. Man, prime John Goodman is the shit. NCB 41 says, I saw the Alabama invasion, thought it was photoshopped. There's no way that was real. It didn't make sense to me. It was like, I don't know, like watching if you saw a picture of a dog riding a horse, you'd be like, what? That's not how that works. That was my immediate response. I was like, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing that's real.
I just keep thinking of, so actually I saw Henry Casey in the chat earlier, and I got to meet up with him, and we went to Stokely's show this weekend. I was thinking about his first set when he was like, you can't get mad just because they forgot NXT UK existed. This is what that felt like to me. Like they just, I don't think have a care in the world for what booking looks like in NXT UK.
Scotty Bobox says, it's Florida. I'm sure there are some rational fans in the PC, but you know that a lot occupy that same space. They're going to praise the undeserving. Yeah, that is true.
It's the Homer stuff. It's the Homer thing of like also, it's the same crowd every week. Like
right. And they did lose their ever-loving mind when Natty showed up. So like they're a very interesting crowd.
They go into business for themselves all the time. That happens I'll say I love ROH, and I went to ROH tapings in Philly, and it was the same crowd just a few times, and it got to that same like point of that it was about them and not about the show they were watching anymore. And I feel like this crowd does that a lot. Like it's consistent that way.
JW Pringle says British invasion greater than Bama. Hey y'all. By the way, the Beach should probably get some vocal therapy, because that man cannot do and new. He does and new. Like it's just his vocal register does not raise above just this. This is how I talk. Sounds a lot like his old man, actually, like Bull Buchanan. JW Pringle says Pepperidge Farm remembers the last meaningful match in NXT 2.0. That's a lie because it hasn't happened. Yeah, we got a Braun Breaker package, video package. It was okay. It was fine. Whatever. The porn accountant.
Alex.
The porn accountant beat Indy Hartwell. I don't understand.
Here's what she can do. A wrist lock. That's it. And at one point, she let go of Indy Hartwell to fix her hair while she was in a hold, which I think is the perfect microcosm of NXT 2.0. I'm going to release this hold so that I can fix my hair. That's great. That's pretty great. What the hell are you doing to Indy Hartwell? Okay, so I appreciate Allie coming forward with this information. Allie, who's always so fun in our chat, she said, if Indy Hartwell loses to her, I'm going to run outside. And then I got a video of her wonderful, equally as amazing, equally as hilarious and incredible and beautiful sister, who sent me video of her running outside in her jammy jams and her Sasha Banks shirt. So it's pretty great. I appreciate that she's a woman of her word. She ran outside because the booking was so bad. And I wanted to, but I more just sat there like this. Like I did for all of this episode.
It felt like they were building to an Indy Hartwell push, but I guess she's got to get involved with a feud with Kiana James for now, because Kiana James won with her one offensive maneuver, as you said, was a wrist lock until she rolled her up after she dodged an elbow drop and then put one foot on the ropes. And then she's standing outside the ropes going like this. I'm smarter than you.
You're so smart.
Canada 1 champion says, wait, what? Porn accountant beat Indy? What the hell is wrong with NXT?
I want all of her moves to be named after the casting couch. I want them all to be terrible like that.
Yeah. Matthew Plus says NXT needs a porn lawyer to team with the accountant.
No, we have a horse lawyer.
Yeah, a porn lawyer with the accountant and then a horse lawyer. So a porn lawyer and a horse lawyer with the horse girl and the porn accountant. Yeah, there we go.
That sounds like a terrible joke. Like they all walked into a bar at some point.
LEC says she was pointing at her skull like it was a WrestleMania sign.
You girls keep me young. Kept on saying bird law.
I don't understand what you're doing with Indy Hartwell. I just don't. I mean,
neither do they.
They're just keeping her busy, I guess, for a while because they have no plans of her being actually near the top where she's supposed to be.
Well, because she already lost to Mandy, right? So
yeah,
now she has to have a feud with porn accountant.
Right.
What a demotion! I'm in the title picture, and then I'm fighting porn accountant.
Tom LaValle says, not a porn accountant, but it's confirmed that Danhausen's wife, who is a burlesque queen, is in the baddies section tomorrow. So there you go.
That. Hey, you know what? Not everybody has access to a porn accountant.
No, Alex. It's true. It's true. They don't.
It's very true. Some people don't have that visual. Some people, even if they do have that visual, they need a little bit of help. They need a little help from a product that I can't pull up because I'm not logged into StreamYard.
No,
but you can.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You know we care about that performance in wrestling, that main event performance. But maybe in the bedroom you don't have the confidence to perform. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL will help get you there. It's got the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know it works. You know it's that good stuff. But it works on your schedule, or maybe when you're not even ready and you want to get there. You consult with the online physician. You don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy. You don't have to wait in line at the doctor's office. No awkward in-person meeting. And if approved, it ships straight to your door in a discreet package. But there will be nothing discreet about your package when you use BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. But you know what? How about free? Get your first shipment free when you use the code FIGHTFUL. Just pay $5 shipping. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Get that main event performance.
I I love that we have inside jokes here, but I do forget about the people who don't watch every week.
You should go back like 4 months.
Get Pumped says, okay, can someone explain to Miss One to me? Why is she a porn accountant? Is that her gimmick? LOL. Okay, listen. For the NXT Breakout Tournament, we had never seen her before. And all she was just like, I'm a high-powered business lady. Look at me. I am crunching the numbers on my laptop with my glasses and my blazer over absolutely nothing else.
Yeah,
and
with no buttons done. Like
she was just,
she walked right out of Pornhub into the ring.
Like there's a whole subsection of this. Listen, I don't know how much we need to explain to you. When a man and a woman love each other very much, they give each other a special hug, and sometimes people film it.
Alex, you have a daughter.
He's not in here right now.
I know, but you're going to have to do a better job with it.
I got some time. She's only 5.
That is very true.
I got some time.
Yeah, it's not even like that inside of a joke. That really was just like her. It was like they had toxic. It's like they said, you're going to be Britannica from Glow. You're going to be smart. And then they were like, but the only thing that we have in wardrobe is Toxic Attraction's outfit. So you have to go put on that and then talk about how you're analytical and crunching the numbers about how you're going to beat people. Yeah. Like Steiner math, but it made more sense, but sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The batted one Jam Beard says the porn accountant should take Naomi's rear view finisher as her new one. And this chat should be the ones to name it. And JW Pringle says it would be called the Pink Eye. Too much. Yeah. So here's the best thing that happened on the show tonight by leaps and bounds. And we wondered, Kate, A, how injured was Tony D'Angelo? Because that was the big thing. It appeared he needed to be tended to during a house show on the Largo Loop. And maybe it was a shoulder. We didn't know. I didn't know how bad it was. But thank God it looks like he's at least good enough to film vignettes. And then we also wondered, what are they going to do with Troy Donovan, with Two Dimes? Because he was released on some kind of technicality or policy violation. Released, and then 2 more episodes that he had already filmed aired. So we don't know what they're going to do with him. And here's what they did with him, Kate. You hear the Godfather music. Like, I don't know how they licensed it, but that is the theme from the Godfather. And then you just hear Kersplash. And then it's on top of a bridge is Tony D'Angelo and Stax. And Tony's like, he's holding on to a watch. And she's like, after all I did for you, I gave you the world. You turned against me. You come after my chair. Well, I guess now he sleeps with the fishes. I'm like, wait, you guess? You obviously threw the man over the thing. You
guess he's not going to admit it out loud.
I just love it. Yeah, I guess he sleeps. No, okay, so we go. So he says, I guess he sleeps with the fishes. And then he got a call from Santos Escobar, who says, hello, is this the new NXT North American champion? Now, before the call comes through, he takes the watch and throws it into the ocean. And we know what a watch sounds like being thrown from a distance. Yeah, it does not sound like you dropped an elephant off the Empire State Building into the Atlantic Ocean. It just sounds like sploosh. If you hear it at all, that's what you hear. But they had a giant effect of it. The same effect that it seems like the watch maybe weighs as much as Two Dimes did, because it's the same exact sound effect. But then he gets the phone call. He's angry about that, and he throws the phone. And the phone also sounds like Kasplash. Mm-hmm. And then the thing I thought was funniest is that he was looking at 2 things that represented Two Dimes: the watch and the leather jacket. They threw the old phone and they threw the watch they got from Goodwill. But that's a really expensive jacket. And they did not throw the jacket. Not only did they not throw the jacket, they didn't show him like pretend to throw it and then cut away and then just leave the jacket there. When they walked away, you can still see Stax holding the jacket. And I just love the idea of like, oh, well, we can't throw this. This is a nice jacket. I mean, this is genuine Corinthian leather. I can't throw this. This is a beautiful piece. I cannot throw away the jacket. This was everything I wanted. We have to address the fact that he's gone. And I love the idea of like, no, Tony's like, no, I got it. Just send me and Lorenzo up to the bridge. We'll film something, and I'll basically say I whacked him. Like I love everything about this was so perfect.
It was the high point of the show. Unfortunately, it was about 90 seconds long. and was a pre-tape. But yeah, no, this just continues to be a whole bunch of fun. This was a blast. I'm proud that they actually acknowledged it. They don't always do that, but this is the way Two Dimes should go off. I only wish that there was also like 2 dimes that he threw in the river that made the same sound as his body. Like,
yeah.
Make a wish and he throws a dime. Beautiful. It's great. This whole story keeps rolling down the hill in the right direction.
Yeah, the best thing on NXT 2.0 by far is the Tony D and Santos thing. It's literally so carrying this place. And also 2 Dimes, who is now Cole Carter, I believe. Carter with a K is now his ring name.
Yeah, back to his name.
Yeah. Tweeted out, "Joke's on you, I know how to swim." That was cute.
That is. That way, if he does come back in a year or whatever.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
He comes back and he's got like seaweed hanging off of him.
Yes.
Like, let's just do the whole thing.
Like at a Little Mermaid.
Yeah. JW Pringle says, Tony D's night. Betrayal, sleeping with fishes, a watch makes too big of a splash, prank phone call, phone in the river, phone makes too big of a splash. It's true. It's too bad. It's really too bad. Valab says, does 2 Dimes sleep with the fishes like a normal person or like Troy McClure? That's a Simpsons reference that you don't understand. Yeah, he built one episode. He built like an underwater house, so he sleeps with the fishes.
Like SpongeBob.
The Battle of One Jam Beard says maybe they kept the jacket to pass it to someone else for them to join the mob. It's like the sign that they're a made guy, which I totally am fine with. However, you're the mob. I feel like you can afford another leather jacket, or I don't know. Why don't you steal a truck that's carrying a shipment of leather jackets? You know, like you're the mob. Yeah. What are you doing? So we got a bunch of things here about this. The Feeling Dreepy says, this is the first time I've watched NXT since the Cameron and Larry Knight feud. I deeply regret it. Although the implication that Tony D murdered 2 Dimes was hilarious, though. It was hilarious. That was the best thing about the show. But Jake Neal says, Alex, Tony D'Angelo may make you sleep with the fishes after your chicken parm burrito. Nobody messes with the chicken parm. Listen, I understand. And normally I get these really great ciabatta rolls so that all the cheese and the sauce melts into the crannies. And I forgot to pick them up this week. And I didn't realize they weren't in the house until the chicken parm was already cooked. And I was like, what am I gonna put them on wheat bread? Like some freaking mook? So I was like, no, hey, listen, you know, the Spanish and the Italians, they share the Mediterranean Sea. Maybe if I just put this chicken parm inside this tortilla, then it'll be good. You know what? It tasted fantastic.
You're gonna have to do better than that for Tony D.
Yeah.
Like that's fine for you, but you better not. You better not go there with that.
NCP says, too bad that whoever is writing the Tony D stuff isn't booking the rest of the show. You mean Tony D? I am convinced Tony D writes everything he says, or at least gets like full approval of like, okay, no, this is who the character is, because it's too much better than everything else on the show. Like it's so much better than everything else that it must have his influence in it, because he's the only person that's different from the rest of the creative. I don't understand.
It is head and shoulders above everything else on the show. And like Santos has been so great with it too. So I don't know what the collaborative process has looked like with it, but it's been great. And a lot of it has been pre-tape as well. Yeah. So they have more times to get it right.
Henry T. Casey says, Pornhub accountant is going to become Tony D'Angelo's accountant, right? Give her the finisher called Bada Bing. Every good legitimate business needs a numbers guy, or in this case, a numbers gal. So I was thinking maybe you could come and run the numbers. I think that's perfectly fine. I think it's a perfectly good thing to do. So also some more things for her finishers should be. Meet Normus says porn accountant's finisher is the step host. It's a groin punch from behind while cursing in Spanish. J.W. Pringle says that Meet Normus wins the Fightful YouTube trophy. Roy Zhang says it should be called the low-grade fever. And Tom LaValle says it should be named the special hug. And
well,
Orion
there you go.
Says it could be called the spreadsheet. That's a double entendre.
It sure is.
I get that one. Yeah, it's true. A freaking Jimmy's John's ad ran after this segment, which was so fantastic. So we got Dyad and Gacy versus Strong and the Creeds. This was so stupid, Kate.
And long.
And really I feel worse every week for the Grizzled Young Veterans. But
yeah, especially because they were wrestling with their jammies on and hoods on today.
Well, they've been wrestling like that, and now Double Vest and the Beach have their titles. Like that's like they were the first ever NXT UK tag champs and great NXT UK tag champs. Double Vest and the Beach. They have to watch Double Vest and the Beach tote around their tag champs, their tag titles, while other guys who also held those titles get to challenge them for them, thus legitimizing Double Vest and the Beach. And like the Grizzled Young Vets would be the perfect guys to come out and be angry. And like, here's the thing. There's no reason they can't do double duty because we don't know yet. They haven't announced it yet that they're the guys under the hoods. Like Grizzled Young Vets coming out to be pissed off at both Yes Boys and also Double Vest in the Beach would be great. It would be a much better use of them than this. Halfway through the match, they insist on calling them Dyad 1 and Dyad 2.
Which makes me think of Thing 1 and Thing 2 from Dr. Seuss.
And Yes Boy 1 and Yes Boy 2. But
yes.
Dyad 1 goes outside the ring and we get Joe Gacy being like, show them who you really are. Like, show them who you really are, because he's been getting his ass kicked. And so then he goes in and then he does good. He does much better after the pep talk of show them who you really are. My question is, shouldn't that be the pre-match pep talk? If you know that you can say that to the guy and he's going to be good? Ridiculous.
Wouldn't show them who you really are mean take off your mask or your hood?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought that whole spot was going to be.
That'd be nice.
That makes more sense. There's only so much you could do as a wrestler that can't see very well. It's dangerous and it's difficult and it's a bad call.
Yeah.
Man, it's not Gacy's fault, but I have no interest in this. The feud with Braun really killed it for him and for them. And neither of them, in my opinion, we'll talk about it later, have really recovered since. But I wanted Gacy to have henchmen. It makes sense. But they gotta just unmask him already. Just do the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Are they waiting for a Great American Bash?
Yeah.
And as far as the UK tag titles go, they really just don't care about them.
No, they don't. So the match ends when Roderick Strong tags himself in, and then gets all pissy about it when Julius has a problem with it, and then Brutus stops Joe Gacy from doing his really weird, unnecessary handspring into a lariat thing, and then both one dyad comes in who's not the legal man, and the ref doesn't see it. But then he immediately tags back in the other dyad guy. So the whole the wrong guy is in the match doesn't matter if he immediately tags himself back out of the match. Why even do the spot? That makes everybody look dumb for no reason. And then they do their obvious GYV tag team finishing move on Roderick Strong. And I guess because Julius and Brutus are pissed at him, they don't get in and try to break it up. I don't understand why they didn't, I guess that was, but they didn't tell that story. They didn't they just show you have Brutus actually reaching for the tag while Roderick Strong is currently being pinned. That's not how that works. He can't tag you while his shoulders are pinned to the mat. You know this, right? Don't you know this? This was all of this was mind-bendingly stupid.
It gets more stupid though. If we could cut to the later segment with Diamond Mine, because Roddy says you haven't been listening to me, and I was like, you're the one who got pinned. Right. That makes no sense at all. That just for him to be yelling at the Creeds when he's the one who lost the match and was the one that took the pin makes absolutely no sense, because he wasn't yelling at them to break up the pin at all. But maybe, you know what it was, Alex? I think Roddy sometimes, it seems like he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. He's a little cranky, and I think it's because he's not starting his days the right way. Right. Because what he's not doing is having a protein-packed cereal to start off his day. He's probably having something that's full of sugar and carbs. And it might not be his fault. He might just not know better. So, Roddy, if you're watching, if you're listening, somebody please let him know about Magic Spoon.
The nostalgia of cereal. Before you grew up and you realize it's probably not the healthiest thing to be eating unless you're eating magicspoon.com/Fightful. How about this? 13 to 14 grams of protein, 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving, low-carb, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and only 140 calories per serving. It's truly innovated and changed the game with sugary cereals. They've spent time to perfect the crunchy texture and develop an astounding variety of flavors, so you always get something that hits the spot, but without any of the things that are bad for you. There's a flavor for everyone. They've got the classics, just like you remember: cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter. I mixed cocoa and peanut butter for that peanut butter cup flavor. They also have the cult favorites: blueberry muffin, maple waffle, honey nut. You also have the indulgent ones like cookies and cream and cinnamon roll. And if you go to magicspoon.com/Fightful, get a custom bundle. Use that code Fightful at checkout. Get $5 off your order. And they're so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. you can return it, no questions asked. MagicSpoon.com/Fightful. Use that code Fightful.
And for the money you're saving,
Mm-hmm.
and with how great you feel because you now have a protein-packed and delicious breakfast, you're going to want to take your newfound energy and your saved money, and you're going to want to go to Fightful Select, and you're going to have the brain power to read about all of the general awesomeness that is breaking over there. General awesomeness being exactly what Sean told me when I said, is there anything specific you want me to push on Select today? He said, general awesomeness. And I said, well, that's very familiar because this is a bunch of just general awesomeness right here. Right here, right there.
Yep.
Here at Sour Graps.
Yeah.
So head over to Fightful Select for general awesomeness. Always more breaking news. I don't think we have to tell you this has been one of the craziest months in pro wrestling, but subscribe to Fightful Select and hang out with Alex and I all weekend doing pay-per-view post shows for everything in the world. Money in the Bank specifically.
General awesomeness sounds like what they're going to call Riddle when they give him a military gimmick.
No. Don't give them ideas.
JW Pringle says, so are Gacy and the Pajama Boys going somewhere? I don't know. I honestly don't know what the hell they have planned for those guys, but I know what they have planned for Diamond Mine, a breakup angle. Because Roddy Strong straight up challenges the Creeds for the NXT tag team titles like I said they were going to. Roddy Strong and Damon Kemp versus the Creeds next week on the Gab.
If they win, I'm gonna be real pissed.
Yeah. Nurguru though has saved everybody with a fantastic fantasy book. Says I figured out how to make Brock and Roman somewhat interesting with something they'll never do. The Bloodline versus Brock and the Creeds. Those kids give young Brock vibes so hard it would work wonders. And Luis says, Bork laser in them loafs are a dream.
Luis rules.
I love that idea. I
like that idea.
I think that's great.
I would say one of them gives me young Brock vibes. I would say Brutus does, and not so much Julius. But if Brock Lesnar's not a walking loaf of white bread, I don't know who is. So
yeah. We got our Zion versus Sanga match that was promised to us 2 weeks ago. Did we really? Sanga, I want to point this out. 4 weeks now, he has literally been wearing Braun Strowman's hand-me-downs.
Yes,
and he decided to stop shopping at the Braun Strowman outlet mall, and instead went to Goldbergington Coat Factory. Because he was wearing Goldberg cosplay. The black boots, the black knee pads, the black trunks, the black elbow pads, the black MMA gloves. Like he was literally...
Not Goldbergington Coat Factory.
Goldbergington Coat Factory.
They're more than just great spears.
He went to Goldberg Dress for Less, and he got himself a full outfit.
Control Your Outlet Mall, I guess, was not available.
Oh, man. It was great. So yeah, Sanga beats him. Which wouldn't matter so much, except for the fact that like then Zion Quinn decides to step to Apollo Crews fresh off a loss to a guy who's like one step maybe above Commander Aziz. Like he's not like he's arrogant about it. Like Apollo Crews, you're here. What are you even doing here? It's been 3 years since you were here. I was like, I feel it's more like 5. But like, it's been 3 years since you were here. Why do you think you can just come in here and take over the place? I'm the person in charge here. I'm the guy who wins everything. I'm a real star. That's why I lost to a guy who dressed up as Goldberg for Halloween. Like, I don't know why they did this.
It was bad. That was not a good match. Them jumping each other before the bell was real weird. did not feel like this type of feud. Senga has a good power bomb.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say about it other than that.
I mean, I think Senga has some potential. I guess I don't know what they're doing with Zion Quinn. Like, it felt like they were making him into something important when he was doing that weird, like, will Elektra Lopez choose this guy she wants to bone or her familia? Like, there was a huge storyline they did for like a long time, and then he lost
but
that.
then he did karaoke with Robert Stone,
right?
Right.
But they didn't have to do that. They could have like used the momentum of that feud that they gave him to like do something else, and they didn't. And now, fresh off a loss, he's like, yeah, Apollo Crews, you should have me. We should fight me because I'm the best. But you just friggin' lost. Whatever. Luis Polito has sent in a Humper chat himself.
Luis
says, did not have Sanga cosplaying as an LA Dojo Young Lion in my bingo card, but here we are.
That's a good call too.
I mean, that's also what he looked like, but really it was Goldbergington Coat Factory.
Goldbergington Coat Factory also just for the fun.
Wendy Chu has dreams about Tiffany Stratton, and she's challenging her to a match at the Gab.
She deserves better. Like, I mean, better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I just. She
there
just does.
I mean,
she deserves to be an NXT Women's Champion. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I like how she says, like, so you don't get it. I get in your head, and then you do something stupid, and then I pin you. Yeah, and I like that's actually she recognized. Like,
she gets it, and then she pins it, and then she wins it.
Just you should probably not tell everybody your strategy, but I get it. Yeah. Oh, this is 3 years ago, so you haven't been here for 3 years. Apollo Crews wrestled Kushida in 2019, which I completely forgot about because I am convinced that did not happen. Like, why would that have happened? Like, in what world does that happen?
It was probably a great match. I wish I remembered it. It was probably fantastic.
Speaking of, in what world does that happen? We got last week, for a couple of weeks, we were shown Nikita Lyons training, getting the knee healthy because she's coming back with a vengeance. You're gonna hear that lion roar. She's gonna be in action next week, and then they're interviewing Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction, and Mandy's like, Roxanne better not try to cash in that contract on me. Blah 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 blah, and up walks Nikita Lyons. This is during tonight's show. And Nikita Lyons says, Roxanne might not have won that contract if I had been healthy. It would be me challenging you. And then Mandy was like, well, you're getting kind of big for your britches. Okay, how about you come and we'll see what's going on tonight.
You bring that same energy here tonight.
Or something like that.
Keep that
and I don't know why. I thought Mandy Rose was going to like be on commentary for the match and watch Nikita Lyons like tune up against some jobber. Like, I'm on record saying I'm not the biggest fan of either of these women, but I understand for them this is a big time match.
Right.
Like, it's Mandy Rose, who's been champion since Halloween, and it's Nikita Lyons, who every time she's on, they like, get your thirst traps ready. Like they promote her heavily as being one of their top up and coming stars. Like, the first time they ever wrestle each other is in a throwaway nothing non-title match on a random Tuesday, and the match was made that night, not the week before or 2 weeks before, where you can promote the hell out of it. Like, Nikita Lyons, like, GIFs of her doing what she does, dressed how she is the biggest social media like stuff that they've got. So you bring the people to the TV ahead of time as opposed to like, well, throw it together. And of course, even with all of that stupid decision to do what they did, it's an objectively bad creative booking decision. On top of that, they just have Nikita Lyons win via DQ. It's DQ, interference DQ, because of course they did. They wasted the entire match by booking an interference DQ because of course they did, because they don't know how to book anything else.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming off of a week where we saw two guys that were in a qualifying match that ended in a DQ get put into a match that they were taken out of to beat tag team champions as a tag team to get put back in the match. So I've kind of surrendered to horrendous DQ booking failure by WWE. But I don't know why you bring some of like one of your, like you said, one of your marquee talents back. It makes no sense to have her come back and get a weak victory.
Not only that, but like you could easily build to the first time these women ever face each other is for the title. Like I am like right now, if you asked me, gun to your head, who's the next NXT Women's Champion, I would say Nikita Lyons. Like I think that's where they're headed. It does not make sense to me to have them face each other before that match where Nikita Lyons becomes champion. That doesn't make sense to me. That's a major marquee thing for them. Like, again, I don't love either of these women. I've been very, like, I don't love for various reasons. I'm not the biggest fan of either of these women, but I understand that for them, that's a marquee matchup. For the people who love NXT 2.0, and apparently those people exist, that's a big time matchup. Why don't you book it in a way that feels big time?
Especially when you could have the Lion Gab instead of Roar for Great American Bash. I'm not convinced with the way that they've built up Roxy that she's not going to be a tag champion and a singles champion at the same time.
Right.
But based on the fact that she's in tag team booking, like let's assume for some reason that they're going to play by their own rules. Nikita Lyons would be the obvious next women's champion. I don't want it. I think Roxy is so much more valuable for a lot of reasons. But I don't get it either. It makes no sense. I think they think this is building to a feud, but it's just weekly starting one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got me.
The Battle to One takes us down a path into hell. And he says, so you know how a lot of people will say Braun could go up and dethrone Roman? I have a feeling Vince is going to have Nikita dethrone Bianca Belair. And to that I say, Battle to One Jam Beard, why would you put that into the universe? Just why would you make that a thing that people would I should have not agreed to read your super chat. That's what
the good news is they don't listen to anything we say. So by you reading that out loud, that ensures that it will not happen.
We also at the end of the match, after they chop blocked Nikita Lyons from behind, and the ref's like, well, now I gotta call for the bell. Like it was like there was even a choice in the matter. Then Cora Jade and Roxy showed up to save her, and they're all like, now they're friends. Okay, fine.
So I'll also say this, like I just didn't feel like it was a very well agented match at all. I don't understand why a heel champion facing a newly coming back from injury competitor doesn't immediately go for the knee. She eventually got to it and eventually attacked it. But I just felt like it wasn't put together in a logical way at all, unless she sincerely didn't want to go after her leg, which makes sense, I guess. But Just didn't feel like this was the best way to go about the match either.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
We got Lash Legend kicking a trainer in the face with her heel. The thing of it is she's Alba Fire. Like the trainer's like Alba Fire sustained an injury, blah blah. After the match, and Lash Legend like gets him out of the ring and says, "Yeah, that's right. I knocked her out permanently." And the thing of it is like I can't be sure because it is Lash Legend if Alba Fire is actually injured at the hands of Lash Legend, because that's certainly possible. We've seen that happen enough. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with her. I think that there could be something for her eventually. I just don't think she's ready now yet. Still, and should be kept off television until that time. That's the way NXT used to work, and I thought it worked pretty well. But
they need to level down with her. I heard from, this is so weird, I don't know why it was today, but I heard from 4 people that they were like, do they think she's Jade Cargill? Like they're Jade Cargill? Because if they do, she's not.
I don't like to do comparisons because it feels like I'm saying, they're all like that or whatever, but that's not what I'm doing. It does, especially with the way they were having, the way she was speaking, everything, the cadence. It felt like they were that maybe it's not Jade Cargill for them, but it feels like they're trying to reclaim a lot of the territory that heel Bianca Belair
that makes plenty sense
back in NXT, because that was her whole deal. The clapping, everything that she was doing with the hands, the cadence of her speech, it felt very much like that's what Bianca used to do when she was a heel, and it worked. It was really great, but it felt real, and also she could back it up in the ring, which is not a thing for Lash yet. So,
correct.
Yeah. Anyway,
I just thought it was interesting that, like, for some reason today, my phone blew up with that kind of comparison. I think people maybe realize that she has more charisma than in-ring ability at this point.
At this point, I would also love to see Alba Fire be out of NXT.
Yes.
Permanently, and just be called up to the main roster. Maybe that's how they did it. And she could show up and immediately start teaming with Doudrop and Nikki Cross, not ASH, like have Alba Fire be the one who actually gets her to drop all that crap. And the 3 of them, I keep saying it, could be a lot of fun as a triad.
There's a lot that she could do to help that main roster too.
Yeah.
I love that idea. But even if they didn't want to go in that direction, there's so much that she could do to help them.
So we get JD McDonough. And he's had some troubles with the cancellation among certain people. Henry T. Casey says so NXT's finally sending him to the US. Yeah, looks like it.
They sure are. I did not catch last week, but they had him wink at the camera while he had his sunglasses on.
Makes sense.
I'm so sad we didn't catch that in real time.
Tonight, he took a sip from a wine glass in slow motion, and the wine glass had a bunch of condensation on it, and so one drip of water fell slowly down the entire thing of because it was all in slow motion. I'm drinking a glass of wine, and just one drip of water was like that was all I could focus on, was one drip of water. And honestly, though, the only thing I can say about this is that JD McDonough, in the grand scheme of things, is one of the best new names they've ever given anybody. It sounds fine. It's like listen, like it is, although it is an atrocity that you let Jordan Devlin become JD McDonough, but you saddled Pete Dunne with Butch.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind he's coming parallel NXT. When he goes up, he might get called like butt cheese or something.
True. As Jake Niles says, can Tony D'Angelo have the writers of NXT 2.0 sleep with the fishes? Is that an option?
That would be nice.
That would be nice. So we got our main event segment.
Which means get in your super chats,
Yep.
get into your humper chats. We're coming down the home stretch.
We got Cameron Grimes and Braun Breaker. We got Wade Barrett standing out there to introduce them. It says, "Gentlemen," and then we immediately break. It's like, no, you know what? Respectfully, you can get out of the hell out of this ring. We're just gonna have a conversation. And like Wade Barrett's like, "All right, well, I'm glad I came out here then." Like, it's just so.
He got the Shivani treatment.
He really did. He really did. Wade cut the shit, and so, Breaker and Grimes have a fine little face off. I thought this was the promo parts were totally cool. Like Grimes being like basically bleeding down to like, you got no heart. You got all the athleticism and size and strength in the world, but you got no heart. And that's what's going to stop you from being a great champion. Just like it stopped your daddy from being a great champion because he had no heart either. Now, that was a low blow, but whatever. And Grimes says, "I'm all heart." You know, I didn't have the silver spoon, all this kind of stuff. I think that at its core, this is a fine way to build to a match. It's the stuff that happened afterwards that I thought was a little over the top.
I agree with you. I feel like Breaker has taken a step back post Gacy stuff. This was not like the fire that we usually see from him, and I think that works for him. It's not even my favorite promo style, but it feels more authentic to him.
Yeah.
Cameron Grimes has a really good way of making everything feel very, very personal and real, which I appreciate very much. Yeah, someone in the chat saying, "Is he supposed to be the new Johnny Gargano?" All I could think about was like, this rebel heart, this very large heart in Braun Breaker. But yeah, this is something that is good to snap together. I think the match will be really good. I really enjoy Cameron Grimes' work, and I think he and Breaker will have good stuff happening between the ropes. I think they both know what they're doing. They both have different advantages in the ring, and I think it'll be really solid. If this is happening at the old Gab, this feels like it was snapped together a little too quick, but I don't know if we're leading toward a heel Grimes or just like a more layered face Grimes, but it works for me.
So after the match, Grimes gets underneath Breaker's skin enough that Braun takes a swing at him and then rushes him in the corner, which Grimes sidesteps, and Breaker does a full-on Bret Hart chest first into the corner. And I think that was supposed to pop the turnbuckle itself.
Okay.
The first one.
That's kind of what I thought too.
The first one was. And then, because it didn't, Grimes had to run him into it chest first again, and that's what popped it off. The turnbuckle exploded. The top turnbuckle bounced into the ring, and so people rush the ring and they start saying to him, "It's like, you make sure he's okay and he's cleared." And he says, "Maybe I couldn't beat you at 100%, but you're not going to be 100%." So at least you're like, that's a heelish thing to do, but also I think the reason it would work for the nuance of Cameron Grimes is if Braun Breaker's crazy, like rhinoceros, like I'm just going to charge at you type of thing was his own undoing, and all Grimes did was get out of the way. That would work a lot better for the nuance of, you're so stupid and such a young idiot that you got yourself injured. I didn't do it, but I'm damn sure going to take advantage of it. And that's a fine nuance thing. The fact that then we had to have Grimes pick him up and run him into the thing again kind of belies that angle a little bit, but I understand things happen.
That's kind of what I thought and made sense. Yeah, somebody in the chat also calling out his shoulder started bruising up fast. Like something definitely went wrong there. But why wouldn't a top star in a wrestling program get injured? It seems like that is going around
that's just
all
the way
of
it always
wrestling.
works. Yep.
But I think this will be a good match. I don't know if I love him saying that like Braun Breaker doesn't have heart and then it being a battle of wits. Like that doesn't make sense to me. So I guess we'll just see.
The heart is very obviously the same as the brain. The same exact organ. Sure. Yep.
Yeah, they're the same. They're the same thing.
It's the same thing.
You think with your heart brain.
Yeah, exactly.
And you love with your brain heart.
Jake Nile apparently has sent that Tony D'Angelo can have the writers of NXT 2.0 sleep with the fishes again. He said it twice because it's that
it bears repeating.
It bears repeating.
It does.
So we got some chats to write out on, and then we'll do our.
We've had a lot of support tonight, guys.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
That
really we appreciate
helps.
it.
Nerd Guru says Giovanni and Claudio are strikingly similar. And wow, could you imagine the banger they could have had? But I'll take Claudio uppercutting Jericho and Sammy into the sun tomorrow instead, but still.
I just am so in love with Eddie Kingston holding a decade-plus long grudge against him that they're going to immediately have come into play here. What a blast. How much fun.
Shadman Huda says, watched Umbrella Academy instead of NXT 2.0. Yeah, everybody should just go ahead and drop a chat about what you watched instead of this. I got people telling me that they play PlayStation or whatever during the show, and then they flip this on just to listen to what they missed.
You guys are awesome.
And as far as like what they should have done with a cinematic match during the pandemic era for 2.0. JW Pringle says, Tony D, the Godfather Part 2, just a shot-for-shot remake, the whole thing.
Well, it's not so much a cinematic match, but I'll take it.
A cinematic cinema. That's what.
Cinematic experience.
Yes, that's right.
It was a cinematic premium live event.
Yeah.
Alice was watching paint dry, she said during
Spine on the Pine says this is a Kate appreciation super chat. Mr. Minus, may your gabagool always be gangrenous and your motts always be moldy. The rest of y'all, may someone hug you as TK hugs pretty much everyone. The Bean kicked in says Kate's lip gloss is popping. You go, Kate. Alex, I love you. I love you too, the Bean.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
DJ Page says, worked out, ate Tex-Mex, and played Fire Emblem during NXT. See, there you go.
What's Fire Emblem?
I have no idea. But there's a lot of things you can do instead of watching NXT.
It's true.
As continuing this thing, Orion Ben says, so Claudio versus Eddie, the war continues, huh? Yeah, forever and ever, I hope.
Eddie Kingston tweeted out a great summary of their Chikara feud if you're not familiar,
right.
But Chikara was rolled out in seasons, and the season cliffhanger happened kind of between them, and then he got signed and became Cesaro, so it never got resolved, which is why Eddie has this fantastic grudge against him.
Well, it was because they had the match, and he's like, I don't respect you. You're a scumbag. I know you're a scumbag. And Claudio was like, what are you talking about? I'm me. Everyone loves me. And then later in the same episode, he turned heel on the entire promotion and proved Eddie right, and then went away forever. So Eddie has never, ever been able to get revenge on him. It's so good.
There are things like that. And I said the same thing about when Malachi Black showed up with his dead eye and a different wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
Those things to me are just such love letters to pro wrestling. Like I love people's, I don't want to say like commitment to kayfabe because that's gotten to be such a truncated term, but like, how much fun is that? Like, this was like 12 years ago, man.
Yeah. Thomas LaValle says NXT, yay, whatever. We're getting Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia for the ROH Pure title shortly. Also, my bet is Claudio wins the match tomorrow night for BCC, and Eddie will not be best pleased in spite of Jericho's bleeding. Yeah, that might be interesting. Like, if Eddie is able to get his revenge on Jericho, but that's not how the match is won. Claudio wins it by like making Cool Hand Ange tap out to something. You know, then he'd be pissed off at that. It'd be good. Jane Pringle is Gab short for guts and blood? Because if not, it's not going to be nearly as good as Blood and Guts.
Guts and blood.
Guts and blood. Yeah. And then the Battle of One Jam Beer says, I skipped NXT and played Civilization 6 on PS4.
I don't know. I don't video game, but that sounds.
Civilization 6 is like a strategy game where you build things from the ground up. Like it was like Sim City back in the day, but like times a million.
Nice.
The Battle of One Jam Beard says, hey, some news to pick up the spirits. Orange Cassidy and All Ego Page set for the Blood and Guts show. That should be great.
Oh man!
Except I really want Ethan Page to win that, and he probably won't.
True. Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay was, I think, my favorite match on the card. It was so great.
Yeah, I'm just a huge fan of Ethan Page, and I want
as am I.
Anybody. So Layla Gray versus Jade Cargill for Blood and Guts. That should be great.
I got to interview Layla Gray. She's delightful.
Meet Norma says, after the AEW Dark main event, it looks like we're getting the Wheeler Yuta versus the Daniel Garcia. Your thoughts, Linda and Sheila? Well, I love the Wheeler Yuta. Listen, I love anything with wheels because it means I don't have to walk, and I hate walking. So anybody who's a wheeler, I'm a big fan of the wheels. Also, the Daniel Garcia, he's so cute with the backwards Kangol hat. I'm a sucker for that. My seventh husband used to wear the Kangol hat. And so my heart is still aflutter. He was the one. My seventh husband was the one. And then he died. And that was too bad.
But then you married someone else.
I married somebody. Well, yeah, listen, life's too short to be alone forever. So I married husband number 8, who was a scumbag, and I divorced him soon after. And then I said, you know what? Being alone is better.
I don't know. I think husband number 9 is on the way. But if you don't like Wheeler Yuta, you're the biggest fool I ever heard of.
That's very good.
And I love the Daniel Garcia.
Yes.
How do you not love the Daniel Garcia?
How could you not? How could you not?
He's so sports entertaining.
He's very. The Battle of One Jam Beard says that Kate and Papa Elizabeth in a tag team versus Matty Minus and his crusty sock. Luis says, hose me down about Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia. That's going to be it.
Thanks for hijacking this chat and making it about AEW.
Okay, I think I think we are all done, and now it's time for some requests. We got this one last week. And I didn't get to it. So Ricardo the Mark, whose appendix burst in the intervening days, says I'm supposed to do Savior by Rise Against as Linda. So I'm going to get the glasses back out again. Here we go. Hold on. I can't read unless I have my glasses. Okay. It kills me not to know this, but I've all but just forgotten what the color of her eyes were and her scars or how she got them. Is this telling signs of age rain down? A single tear is dropping through the valleys of an aging face that this world has forgotten. There is no reconciliation that will put me in my place, and there is no time like the present to drink these draining seconds. But seldom do these words ring true when I'm constantly failing you. Walls that we just can't break through until we disappear. So tell me now, if this ain't love, then how do we get out? Because I don't know. I'm not really sure.
I mean, it seems like you got out of him with 8 different husbands.
There you go. We got yet another request for Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks. I don't know
this is, I think, the 3rd time.
I think it is, but I don't think we've ever gotten a Gunther request for this is from the Battle of One Jam Beard.
So appropriate as Double Vest and the Beach have won the NXT UK titles.
Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots and ruined your black tie affair. Yeah. The last one to know. The last one to show. I was the last one you thought you'd see there. And I saw the surprise in the fear in his eyes when I took his glass of champagne and I toasted you. Said, honey, we may be through, but you'll never hear me complain. Because I've got friends in low places. It's Ludwig. And where my whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. Ha! And I'll be okay. I'm not big on social graces. I think I will sleep on down to the oasis. Oh, I got friends in low places. I am the Intercontinental Champion now. Yeah.
Yeah, we know you're not big on social graces. You show up to your ex's wedding just to make a toast like an idiot.
Yep.
Sounds like you're really healed, dude. Stay home, idiot. Men and their emotional immaturity. I can't.
All right, there we go. Okay. We got a request for hold on. Let's see here. What is this now? Nathan Frazier. JW Pringle wants to hear Nathan Frazier singing "Kiss Me Deadly" by Lita Ford.
I do. I'm glad Nathan Fraser has worked his way into rotation. I like it.
Okay, here we go. I went to a party last Saturday night. I didn't get late. I got in a fight. It ain't no big thing. Late for me job and the traffic was bad. I had to borrow £10 from my old man. It ain't no big thing. I went to a party last Saturday night. I told you that story would be all right. It ain't no big thing. But I know what I like, and I like dancing with you, I do. And I know what you like. I like, you like dancing with me. Oh, yeah, kiss me once, kiss me twice. Come on, pretty baby. Kiss me deadly. Bob's your uncle.
Kiss me pretty deadly, am I right?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, NCB wants to hear Seamus singing Weezer's "Say It Ain't So." We have not gotten a Seamus singing a song request, but here we go.
It ain't so.
There we go. Somebody's hiding. He's crowding my ox box, fella. Somebody's calling. It's giving me chills. Guess I just close my eyes. Oh yeah, all right. Feels good inside. Flip on the telly. Wrestle with Jimmy. Something is bubbling behind me back. The bubble is yet to blow, fella. Say it ain't so. Your drug is a heartbreaker. Say it ain't so. My love is a life taker. Fella. I've never sung a song as Seamus before. It's very odd.
It is.
He's very staccato, so he doesn't actually hold things out very long. So.
I'm seeing him on stage, but with his super washed out lighting, with a mic in his hand, but the whitest lights in the world.
All right, this is the last one. Is by Howell Dawdy, Shrimp Night, sung by Linda as requested by Matthew Plus, which means
let's be careful because he's a sandbagging son of a bitch.
Listen, Luis says it's funny, so I'm going to take Luis's word for it. There we go.
Luis, there's a lot riding on you right now.
We're gonna have a shrimp night all night. You and me, we're eating shrimp till sunrise. We're gonna have a shrimp night all night. We're gonna have a shrimp night. That sounds like me every time I go to the Red Lobster. We're gonna have a shrimp night. That's right. Grab a shrimp. Take a bite. Whole table covered in deep sea delights. We got garlic butter, hot sauce, marinara, remoulade, lime crema, tangerine, curried yogurt, sour cream, shrimp night all night. All my favorite shrimp types. Popcorn, coconut, tempura battered, fried up, shrimp and grits. Well, you don't like the grits.
No, we've discussed that before. Grits are
we've talked about this ad nauseum.
Load of trash.
Not a big fan of the grits.
No.
Teriyaki scampi pasta, biryani jambalaya, tom yum soup and cocktail, to name a few. Shrimping all night like a pair of maniacs getting drunk on these little deep sea aphrodisiacs. Tails up, heads down, stewing in a pot. You know, the neighbors like to call the cops when they see how much shrimp we got. We're going to have a shrimp night all night. You and me will get dressed up to the nines. Cocktail, garlic butter, peel and eat, baked, boiled, and brine. We're going to have a shrimp night. Shrimp night. You know, that's right. We'll be loving, hugging, kissing, lips and fingers glistening. Neighbors don't know what they're missing, but you know they will be listening in to our shrimp night.
That was a lot about shrimp.
It was about shrimp.
It was.
I love shrimp.
Not a fan of the seafood.
There's
Like
literally more. There's like, I don't know, at least 3 times as much as that. But I'm not going to read all of it. It's just it's about shrimp.
It's a sampler platter of the shrimp.
D says, I wish that was Tony D's theme song. Allie C's is my favorite.
She's delightful.
Matthew Plus says so much love.
So much love.
Mm. I'm glad we could please you, Mr.
It's
Mickey
for
Matthew Plus.
We do it for the people.
Kate, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Fightful Select with Alex Pawlowski. This feller right here doing the Money in the Bank, and we'll definitely be doing a Gab post show as well every Tuesday. We're back here to this very show. On Wednesdays, you can find me at the Mark Order podcast, talking all things All Elite, and on Friday, you can catch me doing the AEW Rampage and SmackDown post show, also on Fightful YouTube.
Yes. Tomorrow night, I'll be on this here channel with Sean Ron Sapp talking about the blood and the guts.
Oh my God, the blood and the guts.
Oh, the blood and the guts. The blood is a guarantee.
Of course.
The blood is a guarantee. However, I do love to see a little bit of color. But if I see an actual entrail, I might have to turn off the TV. If you're disemboweling people, I don't need to see it on my television.
I don't know that Eddie Kingston likes to grab whatever's around and stab people.
You never know. He might bring in, I don't know, some kind of spear.
You know what? This reminds me that I don't think we've had anybody get murdered in canon on NXT before. Oh no, what am I saying? Sam Shaw. We had Dexter Loomis. But I was thinking about how Eddie murdered somebody in canon and Impact murders people all the time.
Are you happy now, Allie? Now I'm wearing the glasses, okay? Also on Thursday, a new episode of Get the Flick Out of Here drops. We're recording that right after this. We're going to talk about the Animal Planet show from 15 years ago because we're nothing if not timely. Called Animal Face Off, which full episodes have been scrubbed from the internet.
It's true.
You can't find them anywhere. But highlights of the episodes are on YouTube, and they are the worst CG you've ever seen in your life of two animals fighting.
I love it so much.
It is hilarious. So
I will say I got way too emotional for CGI animals. I got really invested about what was going to happen to like a gorilla and a leopard, and it's not even close to convincing.
Yeah.
But I was like, this poor little guy.
Yeah.
These poor pixels.
Jake Niles says we had a family night each week watching that.
It's wild.
Robo Croc. Yes, Robo Croc. Anyway, thank you all for watching those. That's a little labor of love for us. And we'll be back, like I said, post Money in the Bank, talking about those great booking decisions. Oh, won't we love the things that they do? We sure will. Go to Fightful Select if you want to hear me talk about Raw and SmackDown, though I don't even know why anybody would want to hear anybody talk about that. But anyway.
That's not very good for business.
I mean, listen, if you want to hear anybody talk about it, I assume it's me and also Kate. But who would want to have those episodes recapped for you? Like,
we get paid to review wrestling shows.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Good and bad.
I was keep it kayfabe. I'm sorry. That was a shoot, brother.
Kayfabe's dead, but we don't need to piss on its grave, partner.
Keep it cool, Gabagools.